All right. Lesson 4, Air Overhead Hydraulic Brake System Critical Class 09162B 1005 09162B 3054. Introduction. Most transit require light duty truck with a straight hydraulic brake system, E with the engine, G with the apply with the brake fluid, with the pedal with the type with the brake depth with the job, the lightly duty vehicle with the medium with heavy duty vehicles require the better braking system for the Army. 2.5 trunk with the some of the 5-ton tactical design truck have overhead hydraulic air over hydraulic brakes with air over hydraulic brakes. The hydraulic compressed air system with the hydraulic system straight with the hydraulic brakes. Air over hydraulic brakes are about the same. The compressed air system supplied with the pressure to the boot, uses the hydraulic pressure to the wheel cylinder about above the mount supplied with the master cylinder. Part A: the construction operates with the component of the air over hydraulic brake system. Figure 4. One of the also the component of the straight hydraulic system plus with the one of the compressed air brake system. Therefore, listing of the review and the component will show how the two systems work together to form the system. The major difference between the system and the air brake system is the brake actuator or power clutch. The actuator converts the air pressure for the hydraulic pressure for the applying of the brake. The contrast of the brake actuator total air system converts the air pressure for the mechanical force applying with the brakes. And the beside of the boosting of the hydraulic pressure for the brakes over the on the truck. The brake piece of the engine air equipped with the compressed air system can be supplied. Can also be used to apply the brakes of the trailer that operates the accessory such as the wiper, motor, horn, of the major component of the system and the function of the system are discussed below. All right, 411 air over hydraulic brake system. Moving from dummy coupling housing, horse line couple, dummy coupling hose, coupling cutout cock, emergency trailer connection into the reservoir or to the rear wheel brakes, and then the cutout hose and coupling, double coupling drain valve, the safety valve, the service line of the trailer. Air hydraulic cylinder, master cylinder, brake pedal, air hydraulic lines, 2 air horns, air supply, lower pressure indicator, windshield wipers, compressor governor, and 2 the front of the wheels and the brakes. Air compressor for the air compressor for the bound, for the top and side of the engine, air compressor for the air for the actuator, the hydraulic master cylinder, the brake, the compressor, the driven, the melt connected with the engine, with the runs over the engine, run for the air compressor for the compressor pass through the governor with the connected between the air reservoir and the compressor for the governor, control of the pressure level in the system by starting at the top of the compression for the air specified. The pressure for the governor does not work correctly with the relief valve connected with the air reservoir open at 150 psi with to prevent the damage of the air system. The air reservoir compressor for the air with the component compressive flow of the air reservoir storage over the until the compressed air is needed with the component for the air system with the check with the valve of the air reservoir inlet with the compressor air cannot be flowed back into the compressor. Brake valve. The brake valve is sometimes called the treadle valve with control of the flow of the air with the brake actuated. Each of the brake with the rubber spring with the pushing the brake valve pedal is pushing the rubber spring with the rubber spring pushing the back against the foot with the more pressure than necessary to push the brake pedal further. The system with control of the pressure of the brake system more accuracy. The figure 4.2 for the page 44 show the 4.4 show the component of the brake pedal with the rubber spring with the metal push the force applied with the rubber spring with the piston push and move down with the stem of the piston make the contact with the valve of the inlet exhaust when the chamber of the exhaust of the seat with the makes contact with the valve of the exhaust port with the upper chamber of the clove as the piston continue with the move down with the stem push of the valve in the inlet seat opening inlet port of the upper chamber of the air supply with the air reservoir flow of the air inlet seat with the into the upper chamber the air supply with the brake actuated to the other components connected in the upper chamber. Brake actuator the brake system with the MW424C scoop type flow over the 2 brake actuator one each for the front with the rear of the wheel. Figure 4, 3, 4, 5 to show that this is some of the brake actuator the brake valve with control of the operation brake actuator either of the 2 brake valve with control valve flow over the air but both of the brake actuator each brake actuator air chamber the hydraulic cylinder hydraulic master cylinder, the air pressure for the brake valve flows in the air brake, the brake actuator, the air pressure for the pushes the diaphragm with the push rod into the air brake chamber. Push rod pushes the into the piston with the and increase the hydraulic pressure of the brake line that applies the brakes. Master cylinder. The master cylinder you with the air over hydraulic brakes and the one with the describing lesson 2 with the straight hydraulic brake system of the master cylinder receive with the initial mechanical force of the pedicle link to the chain with the hydraulic pressure center of the brake fluid with the under the pressure directly the wheel cylinder air over hydraulic pressure hydraulic brake with the master cylinder serve the brake fluid in under the pressure in the air over hydraulic cylinder before it goes in the wheel cylinder on military design vehicle the master cylinder the vent fitting on the top of the reservoir connected to the venting line with the venting system of the vehicle with the prevents the water from the entry of the master cylinder through the venting during the folding of the operation. Special drill bolt fitting and installed with the filler cap of the master service for the purpose. After the air over hydraulic cylinder in the operation hydraulic pressure of the master cylinder you with the compressor of the air to put air to boost for the hydraulic pressure for the master cylinder of the air you have more than one model of the air over hydraulic cylinders. All of the models contain the same major unit with operating the same principles. The units are made up of the 3 major joints for the one assembly of the control unit, the master power cylinder, and the slave cylinder of the unit of the M809 series vehicles is the air valve, air cylinder, hydraulic cylinder, and a piston. 4.2 brake tread valve sequence numbers. Our treadle valve, the control unit contained with the control valve with the relay piston, hydraulic operator brake fluid with the master assembly, the diaphragm compressor assembly, the operator with the pressure difference with the brake fluid, air with the spring and the pressure, return spring holds with the hydraulic relay piston with the diaphragm assembly, the release position where there's no hydraulic pressure, the two air poplets assembly with one stem with the control with the air pressure flowing in and out of the power cylinder with the poppets with the normally held and release position with the poppet return spring. Disassemble the brake actuator, the sequence numbers, introduction, the learning event, provide the information for the diagnosis, correcting unsatisfactory operation with failure and item with the engine care instruction, equipment, the component for the job situation for the creative with the requirement of the DA form 5988E, and the troubleshooting guide and the appropriate maintenance allocation chart. DA form 5988E, requirements of the piece of the equipment that you for the following situation will be loader, scoop, the type of the diesel engine driven in the 4x4 articulated frame steer, the 2.5 cubic engine, JI case model MW24C with the duties position with the, until the assignment that will be the same as in lesson 2 and 3, and operator will present the safety issue. Safety will also be as prime. Consideration engineering the engine shut off the control and transmission level with the neutral position, parking brake, the tab of the wheel of the track, and situation the maintenance allocation chart to identify the brake group number to the column number to determine who's authorized to replace with the hydraulic brake line with the brake tread valve. The problem is going to adjust the wheel disc of the brake. So the solution after examining the maintenance the allocation chart, you should be determined the organizational maintenance as the responsibility to replace with the brake line with the brake tread valve. In situation you have the assignment with the troubleshoot with the MW24C scoop tab load with the DA form 5988E. State that the wheel brakes do not work during your personal inspection. You determine that there's sufficient air pressure present. That there's no indication for the brake of the airline. But the hydraulic fluid is lower in the power cluster. The compressor belt is tight with the problem based on the information determined the problem will cover the malfunction, appropriate corrective action. Even the troubleshooting guide in appendix D, pages D21 through G25 solution, will cover the insufficient hydraulic fluid in the actuator of the corrective action to add fluid and believe the brake system in order to the test loader. No, the believe the air from the brake system filled with the hydraulic fluid. They refer to the appendix of the pages G21 through G25 to G29. The situation involved the filling of the actuator, road testing the scope type loader. While the road testing of the scoop loader, you find the strip of the brakes will not set up the machine with the problem based on the information above that determine the problem will cover the malfunction, appropriate for corrective action. Use the troubleshooting guide in appendix D, pages D121 through G25. The solution, since there is no indication of the air fluid leak of the logical assumption of the disc brakes need to be inspected ahead. Looking at the maintenance allocation chart to determine the inspection done with the organizational maintenance. You have determined through the inspection disc brake that the lining measurements are less than 2.54 millimeters. And a quick look at the maintenance allocation show for the replacement of the brake lines. Organizational maintenance responsibility. You should have located the linings for the corrected nomenclature in line with the friction. You for the part manuals extract the linings at item number 3 with the part number 9640184 with the part cut 9680436 for locating the track of the cost reference for the NSN kit for the kit with the 253001800079 for the information removed with the cleaning and inspection. Installing brake linings referring to the appendix D with the D33 through D36. The situation involved the use of the parking brake of the parking brake, hold the loader in the position for the brake of the apply. Also, the action of the emergency brake of the loader cannot be moved at least for the side with the pressure that had been built up in the air system. The air pressure acting on the brake actuator overcome the spring pressure relief of the brake pipe or the brake line with the transmission valve line with the instrument panel operated with the brake actuation. Valve lever is pulled out with the air exhaust that allows the spring to set with the brake with you have given the DA form 5988E saying the brake parking brake will not hold the loader while the problem determined while the level of the maintenance for the responsibility, adjustment, replacement, and repair with the parking brake. Solution B. Solution. By the looking at the maintenance allocation chart, you find the organizational maintenance have the responsibility, adjusting, replacement, the repairing of the park of the brake. And while adjusting the scooping loader, parking the brake, you found on the actuator route strip that you have the maintenance allocation chart will determine whether the responsible to repair the solution. If you look at the maintenance allocation chart, when reasonable for the repair situation D, clearly say with the organizational maintenance responsibility, adjusting, replacing, repairing the parking leakage. Know that you can accept in appendix D with the page D31 to replace if the situation you will be working with the brake treadle valve, the problem will level the maintenance with the authorized replace with the brake treadle valve. The solution removal of the refer to appendix D, page D44 through D43 through D44 with the removal of the insulation brake treadle valve. Lesson 5, the D7G brake system.